Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Warth Stories. I hope you all had a warm, joyful Thanksgiving filled with love and laughter, surrounded by family who cherish you. Ours was a mix of tender moments and absolute chaos, overshadowed by my mother's descent into madness and a heart-wrenching rift with my oldest brother. If you're new here, check out my previous video on Warth Stories for the backstory. It's a sprawling tale of betrayal, loss, and survival that's shaped who I am. Tonight, I'm sharing a blend of stories, a light-hearted tale of how I won my wife's heart, the unexpected sting of online hate, the ongoing drama with my brother and mother, a haunting fictional story inspired by my own guilt, and a personal struggle. My wife, Elena, is at a fancy gala with a client, and I'm wrestling with unease while she shines under glittering chandeliers. I'm 44, Elena's 44, and I'm reflecting on my life at 26, watching my family fracture, and even younger, as a lovesick teenager falling for the woman who become my everything. This is raw, unfiltered, and real, so let's dive in. Let's start with a story that's the heartbeat of my life, the foundation of my strength, one I shared online that sparked both laughter and shocking cruelty. When I was 16, I fell for Elena, my now wife, the moment I saw her, love at first sight, her braces glinting under the kitchen light, her giggles lighting up my world like fireflies dancing in a summer dusk. She was my little sister Claire's friend, a whirlwind of teen energy, always sprawled on the living room floor with magazines, their laughter echoing through our house. I was the hot older brother, or so Claire's friends whispered, too cool to care, holed up in my room with Nirvana and Pearl Jam blaring, my flannel shirts and scuffed sneakers a badge of teenage rebellion. But every time Elena's laugh drifted upstairs, my heart raced, my palms sweaty, my thoughts a jumbled mess. I had no shot, or so I thought, a gangly kid with no game, daydreaming about a girl who barely noticed me. Years later, in our mid-20s, we reconnected through mutual friends at a dive bar, the air thick with cigarette smoke and cheap whiskey. I was older, free of awkward headgear, and Elena was still radiant, her smile a beacon in the dim light. I was just as in love, my heart thudding like it did at 16, but this time I had a chance, and I wasn't going to blow it. After a friend's birthday party, the air buzzing with wine and laughter, I invited her to crash at my tiny apartment, my nerves electric. I'll confess, I turned my place into a rom-com set, every detail calculated to catch her eye. I casually draped a t-shirt of her favorite football team, my dad's, but I'd worn it to every game, cheering for our local college, over a chair, like it just landed there after a lazy day. A CD of her favorite band, the Smashing Pumpkins, one I genuinely loved, sat on my nightstand, its case scuffed from late-night listening sessions. Her favorite beer, a hoppy IPA I secretly thought tasted like piss water, chilled in the fridge, and I grinned through every sip like it was my favorite too. Was I a weirdo for this? Maybe just a little. Did it work? Absolutely, like a charm cast under a full moon. Those details sparked our first real talk, hours of stories and laughs, her eyes sparkling under my flickering lamp, the world fading until it was just us, two souls connecting over music and memories. Years later, I admitted it in my wedding vows, our guests roaring with laughter, Elena's blush matching her bouquet as she squeezed my hand, her eyes saying she'd known all along. Her sister Claire, my bridesmaid, cackled from the altar, having known her friends all crushed on me, her teasing a warm memory now. But sharing this story online turned ugly, a reminder of how cruel strangers can be. I posted it on Reddit, expecting smiles, maybe a few chuckles. Instead, I got DMs telling me to kill myself, calling me worse than a criminal for staging a t-shirt, for loving Elena so much I'd plan every detail to win her heart. Elena and I, married for years, sat over coffee, laughing at the absurdity, her hand on mine as we scrolled through the hate. The shirt was my dad's, the CD was mine, the love was real, yet people spun it into something sinister. To those who loved our story, your warmth means everything, a reminder of why I share on Warth Stories. To the haters, find some joy, live a little. This love, born from a teenager's crush and a carefully placed t-shirt, keeps me grounded, even now, when the world feels like it's crumbling. This tale of love contrasts with the guilt and loss I've carried, reflected in a fictional story that haunts my nights, a dark mirror to my own regrets. Picture Donovan, a man shattered by grief, sitting at his dining room table, the air thick with a bitter scent of stale coffee, a newspaper trembling in his calloused hands. His wife's voice pouts. "Why won't you look at me?" Sweat beads on his forehead, dripping onto the table as he hides behind the smudged print, his breath shallow, his pulse racing. Her leg brushes his shin under the table, cold and slick, water dripping onto the hardwood with a soft patter, her chipped, dirty nails clicking like a countdown to dread. "It's like you don't love me, darling. Did I do something wrong?" she pleads, her voice a haunting blend of sweetness and despair, each word twisting his heart. Donovan's chest tightens, his coffee cup shaking in his grip, the ceramic warm against his clammy palms. He loves his real wife, an angel whose laughter lit his world like sunlight through a storm, her smile a beacon in his darkest moments. But the thing across from him isn't her, it's an impostor, a sacrilegious mockery. His wife died tragically, plummeting from the city's highest bridge in her wedding gown, the silky white billowing as she fell into the watery grave below, after a drunken argument where Donovan, lost in a haze of whiskey and rage, said things he didn't mean, cruel words about her beauty, lies he'd give his soul to take back. "I'm sorry," he whispers, tears stinging his eyes, his voice lost in the room's oppressive silence, the weight of his guilt a chain around his heart. The impostor's cold, gray hand caresses the newspaper, leaving dark, wet streaks, the paper growing soggy until it slumps in his arms, revealing her decaying face, maggots writhing in her cheeks, black wounds etching her neck like jagged scars, hollow eye sockets boring into his soul. Her dislocated jaw moves fluently, each word reeking of rotting meat, filling the air with decay. "Aren't I pretty, Donovan? Don't you love me?" Her pouts morph into sobs, then distorted wails, ear-splitting screams only he can hear, echoing in his skull like a curse. Her once white wedding dress, now coated in mucus and mud, clings to her skeletal frame, a grotesque parody of their vows. Donovan's trapped, imprisoned with this thing, begging forgiveness for the wife he lost, his guilt a wound that festers, a ghost that won't let him go. This story haunts me because it mirrors my own guilt, over my family, my choices, the people I've lost or pushed away. It's a dark echo of the pain I felt at 26, watching my parents lose my brother, R, the oldest of us three, me, S, 34, and R, 36. In 2024, I watched M, R's girlfriend, tear our family apart like a fire raging through dry grass, leaving nothing but ash and memories. It began 3 years ago, in the suffocating grip of the pandemic. R divorced his wife of 8 years, a woman who filled his head with propaganda against our parents, blaming them for her troubles, her lies a wedge that split us apart. She wanted to be polyamorous, had a boyfriend, and R didn't, her choices a betrayal he couldn't reconcile. After the divorce, R came to our parents' house, his head bowed, his voice cracking as he apologized for a decade of distance. The kitchen smelled of Mom's coffee, warm and familiar, a fleeting comfort in a fractured family. We saw glimpses of the brother we'd missed, his booming laugh, his quick wit, the way he'd tease us about his old comic book collection. He started FaceTiming Mom again, like when we were kids trading baseball cards under the porch light, and we hoped, with a fragile kind of hope, that he was back for good. Weeks later, he met M. At first, she seemed fine, charming, social, a step up from his ex. We met her at Easter 2021, her laughter filling our parents' dining room as she passed the mashed potatoes, her smile bright under the chandelier's glow. But something felt off, like a note played slightly out of tune in a song you know by heart. Mom brushed it off, her eyes soft with hope, saying, "She's better than his ex. Everyone has quirks." We learned M had a strained relationship with her family, parents she barely spoke to, a brother she never mentioned, which might explain her awkwardness at ours, her smile a little too forced, like a mask slipping at the edges. I tried to shake the feeling, my gut twisting, but M's behavior grew stranger, like a storm brewing on a clear day. At a big family barbecue, the backyard buzzing with cousins, the air thick with the smoky scent of grilled burgers and sunscreen, she teased us about being single, pushing him to try Tinder since she and her met on Facebook dating. A calm, reserved guy who cherishes his quiet life, reading sci-fi novels in his cluttered apartment, told her to knock it off in front of everyone, his face flushed, his hands clenched, his voice sharp like a blade. His snap shocked me, like seeing a still lake ripple with sudden waves, a rare glimpse of the frustration he usually buried. Then came the move. R, thriving in his career, landed a new job and a sleek apartment, moving in with M, their new life a fresh chapter we all wanted to celebrate. My parents and S volunteered to help, loading boxes under a scorching summer sun, sweat soaking their shirts, the air heavy with dust and anticipation. But Dad broke his shoulder the weekend before, a freak accident while fixing a fence, leaving him unable to drive the moving van they'd rented. M was furious, her eyes blazing like twin flames as she snapped at him, her words cutting like shards of glass, blaming him as if he'd chosen to get hurt. To this day, she hasn't forgiven him, holding that grudge like a weapon she sharpens with every retelling, a constant reminder of her resentment. On moving day, arguments erupted in the cluttered apartment, M accusing S and Mom of meddling, her voice venomous, echoing off the bare walls like a curse. S is so chill, I couldn't imagine him starting it. Mom said M's anger felt personal, like a vendetta aimed at unraveling our family. After that, we didn't see or hear from M for months, the silence deafening, like a phone that never rings, a connection severed without warning, leaving us grasping for answers. Things quieted until December 2022, when R&M announced they were pregnant, a bombshell that lit up my parents' faces with joy. They were already dreaming of their first grandchild, piling a stroller, tiny onesies, and plushies in R's new living room, their love overflowing like a river breaking its banks. But I was skeptical, that uneasy feeling gnawing at my gut like a persistent ache, a warning I couldn't shake, like a storm cloud on the horizon. M's pregnancy was tough. Morning sickness, exhaustion, a weariness that seemed deeper than physical. Mom sensed she wasn't excited about motherhood, possibly tied to her own family wounds, a fractured past she kept locked away, her silence a wall we couldn't breach. My parents offered help, their voices warm with offers to babysit, cook, or just listen, determined to support them through the chaos. In April 2023, our grandmother, Dad's mom, passed away after a long illness, her absence leaving a hole in our family, like a missing piece in a puzzle we'd never complete. S was abroad, working on a project, so my girlfriend, Lily, 22, and I visited R&M, the air heavy with grief, the living room dim under a flickering lamp. We shared our news to lighten the mood. We were moving in together, our lease signed, our future bright with possibility. M's response was infuriating, her voice sharp as she lectured Lily about focusing on studies and partying, as if Lily, who'd rather read than rave, was making a mistake by choosing me. Her words hung in the air like smoke, stinging my eyes, my jaw tight as I bit my tongue to keep the peace. We left feeling weirded out, the tension lingering like a bad aftertaste, a shadow cast over our excitement. At Grandma's funeral, everyone was notified by a card listing close family, including R&M's unborn son as a great-grandchild, a gesture meant to honor the next generation. M was livid, her voice shrill as she ranted over the phone that my parents had no right to include her baby, her anger a wildfire out of control. They explained it was a general mention of great-grandkids, not specific, their minds clouded by grief, Mom's eyes red from crying, her hands trembling as she clutched the phone. It left a sour taste, like biting into spoiled fruit, a wound we didn't need. At the funeral, Dad, S, and I wore suits, the fabric stiff against our skin, a mark of respect for a woman who'd shaped us. But R&M were underdressed, R in faded jeans, M in a loose dress, though her pregnancy excused her. R had no excuse in my opinion, his casual attire a disrespect to Grandma's memory, like showing up to a symphony in flip-flops. I gave a speech, my voice steady despite the lump in my throat, referring to Lily as a woman since girlfriend felt odd in my native language at such a solemn event, the words chosen to honor the gravity of the moment. After the service, I supported Mom as we watched Grandma's cremation, her hand trembling in mine, her sobs quiet but piercing, like needles in my heart. At the reception, Lily, S, and my cousin told me M criticized my speech for calling Lily a woman, a petty jab that made no sense, like a storm erupting over a clear sky. Days later, she complained to my parents too, her words a baffling attack, as if my speech had somehow wronged her personally. We decided not to anger M, fearing she'd keep us from her son. a fear that sat heavy in our chests like a stone we couldn't lift. My nephew was born in June or July 2023. My memories fuzzy from the chaos, the days blending like watercolors in the rain. My parents spoiled them with a stroller, clothes, plushies, even gifting our a whiskey bottle as a playful nod to surviving parenthood's sleepless nights. But they were told 48 hours after the birth, a delay that crushed Mom, who felt like an afterthought, her hands shaking as she read the text, her coffee growing cold on the counter. It was also the day Lily and I moved in together, boxes stacked in our new apartment, the joy of our milestone overshadowed by stress and hurt. S and I visited once with effort, navigating M's icy demeanor to hold our nephew, his tiny hands gripping my finger, his eyes wide and innocent, a spark of light in the darkness. My parents went as often as allowed, offering to babysit whenever R&M complained about the strain, their voices tired over the phone, the weight of new parenthood evident. But in December 2023, M told them she despised them, her words cutting like a knife through years of love, leaving Mom staring at her phone, hoping for a reply that never came. After some distance and email contact with R, he accused them of trying to buy their happiness, words that didn't sound like him, as if M had typed them herself, her influence a shadow over his thoughts. They went no contact at R&M's request, the silence a wound that refused to heal, a scar on our family's heart. I spoke to her once, his voice distant over the phone, like he was speaking from another world, the warmth gone from his tone. He denied M's comments about our move and my speech, saying, "That's not like her," his words unconvincing, like he was trying to convince himself. He claimed he didn't wear a suit to the funeral because we're not a suit family, as if our family's traditions, our moments of respect, were a joke to be dismissed. I met him mid-2024, sitting in a coffee shop with a hum of strangers around us, the smell of roasted beans grounding us, but only if we avoided the conflict, the air between us thick with unspoken words. He said S and I weren't part of it, but S hadn't heard from him either, the silence a wall we couldn't climb, a barrier that grew taller with each passing month. In December 2024, Dad, tired of waiting, emailed R, begging to reconnect, his words raw with love and pain, each sentence a plea from a father's breaking heart. R refused, saying they didn't respect his family, his tone cold and unfamiliar, like a stranger wearing my brother's face. Dad, done with sadness, told R to collect his stuff and return his key. S and I were there, holding Mom as she sobbed in the living room, her tears soaking my shirt, watching R and a friend take his things. Old photos, books, a childhood baseball glove that once held our summer memories, dusty and worn. Dad asked if R had anything to say, his voice steady but heavy. "No," R said, his voice flat, his eyes avoiding ours, his steps heavy as he walked away. Dad slammed the door, the sound echoing in my chest like a final goodbye, a door closing on the brother I once knew, the brother I'd played catch with in the backyard, the brother I'd lost. I'm angry at M's arrogance, her narcissism poisoning our family like a slow-acting venom, seeping into every crack. I'm furious at R for not standing up for us, for letting her pull him away from the people who raised him, who loved him through his darkest days. I'm at a loss. Do I accept I've lost a brother, a piece of my childhood? Should I try to mend things, reach out one more time? I don't know, but the weight of it sits heavy, like a stone I can't lift, a burden I carry in every quiet moment, a grief that mirrors Donovan's endless remorse. Now, fast forward to me at 44, married to Elena, the woman I schemed to win with a t-shirt and a CD, living a life marked by love and chaos. My mom's madness continues, a shadow that never lifts, a storm that follows us like a predator. A few nights ago, at 4 a.m., Elena woke me, her voice tense in the dark, the room lit only by the glow of her phone. "Your sister, Claire, is on the porch," she said, peering through the blinds, her breath catching in her throat. "Should we call the cops?" I didn't like Claire, who'd sided with Mom and called my autistic daughter and me retarded, a word that cuts deep, especially since Elena suspects I might be on the spectrum, a possibility that's reshaped how I see my quirks, my struggles. I stepped outside, the chilly air biting my skin, my breath visible in the cold, and told Claire to leave, my voice firm but shaky, my heart pounding. She stood there, sobbing, clutching her newborn, Noah, bundled in a thin blanket, her voice breaking like glass. Mom's house is hell. I can't go back. Please. Despite her past, something shifted in me. The big brother instinct I thought I'd buried years ago, clawing its way back like a ghost from my childhood, stirring memories of protecting her from Mom's rages. Claire looked like a ghost in our living room's light, pale, her hair matted, dark circles like bruises under her eyes, her hands trembling as she held Noah, his tiny coos a fragile sound in the silence. We sat on the couch, the heater humming softly, and talked for hours, raw and emotional, the kind of conversation that strips you bare, leaving nothing but truth. She apologized, tears streaming down her face, begging not to return to Mom's abuse, hitting, screaming, even in Noah's nursery where his crib sat surrounded by stuffed animals, their bright colors mocking the chaos. Mom was popping pills, spiraling into addiction, her voice taunting as she tried to drag Claire into it, waving bottles like a twisted offering, her eyes wild with desperation. Claire confirmed Mom called CPS on us, falsely claiming I abused my daughter and Elena, accusations ranging from physical to sexual, each word a dagger in my heart, a betrayal that burned like acid. I'd suspected Mom, but Claire's words were proof, sharp and undeniable, like a confession in a courtroom. Mom even planned to file for grandparents' rights, a desperate bid for control, but thankfully, that's not a thing in our state, a small mercy in the storm. Claire revealed Mom pressured her at 14 to poke holes in condoms to get pregnant, promising to help raise the baby, a promise as empty as the bottles she left scattered on the counter. After Noah's birth, Mom abandoned her, only using him for social media clout, dressing him in Grandma's baby shirts for her followers to fawn over, a performance of love that was never real, a facade to mask her chaos. Noah's father left after Claire confessed to baby-trapping him, unable to handle the betrayal, his absence a void in her life, leaving her alone with a newborn. Mom fired the housemaids and nannies in a mental breakdown, her screams echoing through the house, leaving Claire to fend for herself, a single mother drowning in exhaustion, her body and spirit broken. Claire's dad had disowned her years ago for siding with Mom, her betrayals, joining Mom's girls' trips that hid affairs, wishing her stepdad was her real father, a wound he couldn't forgive. I contacted him, my voice steady as I mentioned Noah, his grandson, a fact that shocked him. He didn't even know Claire was pregnant. With a heavy sigh, he agreed to help, his voice thick with reluctant hope, a flicker of redemption. Claire slept for 2 days in our guest room, her body collapsing from exhaustion, Noah's soft coos the only sound breaking the silence, a reminder of innocence preserved. Mom reported her missing, spiraling into a frenzy, her calls to the police frantic and unhinged, her voice a storm over the phone. I called Granddad to reassure him Claire was safe and warned him to protect my little brothers, fearing Mom's next move, her shadow looming like a predator in the dark, as relentless as Donovan's ghostly wife. Claire's dad arrived, and their reunion was fragile but hopeful, their voices soft in the quiet of our living room, tears mingling with tentative smiles as they held Noah, a tiny bridge to healing. Claire had hurt him deeply, siding with Mom during her affairs, her choices a betrayal of the family he'd tried to build. But Noah's existence softened his heart, a chance to mend what was broken. Mom and her cult-like followers, her toxic siblings and shady friends, knew our location the entire time, a betrayal that chills me to the bone, like ice in my veins. They were caught on camera setting my in-laws' house on fire, intending to kill us all, the flames a manifestation of Mom's rage, a physical echo of the destruction she'd always wielded. We survived because we were at Elena's mom's, laughing over board games and popcorn, oblivious to the inferno that could have ended us. There's a warrant out for Mom and her accomplices, but they've vanished, like ghosts slipping into the night, leaving no trace but fear. Her house is untouched, her belongings still there, clothes in the closet, dishes in the sink, but her social media and siblings are gone, erased from the digital world like a bad dream. We don't know who leaked our location or photos of our kids to Mom, a violation that feels like a knife in the back, a betrayal from someone we trusted. We've been feeding fake information, as you suggested on Warth stories, but haven't caught the traitor yet, the uncertainty a constant weight on my chest, a shadow that follows me everywhere. I'm terrified, my heart racing at every creak in the house, my sleep fractured by nightmares. Mom stealing my kids, killing Elena, leaving me destitute, her shadow a specter in my mind, as vivid as Donovan's decaying wife, her wails echoing in my dreams. My in-laws blame me for the fire, saying I dragged them into my mess, their words echoing my own guilt, a chorus of self-doubt that plays on repeat. They're not wrong. I've carried Mom's chaos like a curse, and it's spilled into their lives. The pressure pushed me to a dark place, and I self-harmed, feeling like the 13-year-old me trapped in Mom's rages, my wrists bandaged, my heart heavy with shame. Some told Elena to divorce me, calling me a liability, a burden too heavy to carry, their voices sharp like the accusations on Reddit. Elena's mom shut them down after I landed in the hospital, her voice fierce as she defended me at a family dinner, her words a shield against their blame, but the damage was done, the cracks in our extended family deepening like fissures in the earth. My oldest brother-in-law and his wife are on the brink of divorce, their arguments a mirror of my own family's strain, their voices raised in the same pain I know too well. I apologized, my voice heavy with guilt, but they said their issues ran deeper than the fire, a claim I'm not sure I believe but let go, too tired to push, too weary to fight another battle. Elena has been my rock, handling everything while I'm barely functioning, her strength a light in my darkness, just like when I schemed to win her heart all those years ago. She's 44, like me, and works on an art advisory committee, her world one of galas, events, and client meetings, a vibrant contrast to my quiet struggles. She meets clients for coffee, lunch, or dinner, and I don't always know the details. That's normal, and I trust her judgment completely, her honesty the cornerstone of our marriage. But tonight, she's at a gala with S., a wealthy client she met a year ago, a man with a firm handshake and a kind smile. They're friends, and I met him once. He's genuine, his laugh easy, but the word date stings like a splinter under my skin. He invited her as his date, and she says it's fine, just business, a chance to network under the glittering lights of a ballroom. I asked if it was a real date, my voice tighter than I meant, my heart thudding like it did when I waited for her to notice me years ago. She laughed, her eyes sparkling like the chandelier she'd be under tonight, her voice light as she explained, "Date doesn't mean romantic. It's just networking, meeting new people." She teased, her smile warm, "Next time, I'll take you instead, I promise." She's been getting ready all day, picking her dress, a flowing silk gown that catches the light, styling her hair in soft waves, perfecting her makeup, looking like a vision, her elegance effortless, her beauty a reminder of why I fell in love with her, why I staged that apartment to win her heart. She's sharing her live location, texting during breaks, and won't go to private places or his hotel after, her transparency a gift I don't take for granted. She'll be back around midnight, maybe later, as these events stretch into the early morning, the music and laughter lingering like a dream. But I'm uneasy, a feeling I've never had before when she's met clients for coffee or dinner, a jealousy that creeps in uninvited, raw, and sharp. At 44, I'm not insecure. Elena would kill me if I went on a date with another woman, even platonically. I could pick a friend, even another woman to go out with, but I don't, out of respect for our marriage and love for her, a choice I make every day, just like I chose to fight for her with that t-shirt and CD. It's about sacrifices, and I chose not to stop her because I respect her career, her ambition a fire I admire, even when it burns me. But picturing her on S's arm, shining under chandeliers in a glittering ballroom, twists my gut like a knot I can't untie, a jealousy that feels like an intruder in my mind, as haunting as Donovan's ghostly wife. Tonight, I'm coping hard, sitting in our quiet house, the only sound my daughter's soft snores from her bedroom, her stuffed animals lined up like silent guardians. I might watch Home Alone to honor my dad, who passed away recently, his absence a wound that throbs with every memory. Christmas without him will be brutal. We'd watch that movie, smoke a joint before our daughter was born, and stare at the tree lights, laughing at Uncle Buck's pizza order, the simplest moments now treasures I can't reclaim. My birthday on January 2nd looms, and I dread it without his lopsided cake, its frosting uneven, his off-key singing a melody I'll never hear again, a loss that cuts as deep as my fears. The next morning, I woke to the smell of fresh coffee and Noah's soft coos from the guest room, a gentle reminder of life persisting despite the chaos. Elena was in the kitchen with Emily, our friend's daughter from high school, making pancakes while Emily braided our daughter's hair, their giggles a fleeting moment of normalcy, like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. But the weight of Mom's disappearance lingered like a storm on the horizon, heavy and oppressive, a shadow that refused to lift. I checked my phone. No updates from the police, the warrant still active, but Mom was a ghost, slipping through their fingers like smoke through a clenched fist. Claire texted me a photo of Noah, sleeping peacefully at her dad's, his tiny chest rising and falling, his innocence a spark of hope. "Thank you for saving me," she wrote, her words piercing my heart like a needle, sharp and tender. I didn't feel like a savior. I felt like I'd failed her by not stepping in sooner, by assuming she was too far gone, too much like Mom. Growing up, I'd protected my siblings, taking Mom's hits to spare them, my body a shield for their innocence, my bruises a silent sacrifice. But I'd given up on Claire, letting her slip into Mom's orbit, and the guilt gnawed at me like a relentless tide, pulling me under, as relentless as Donovan's remorse. Elena handed me a mug of coffee, the steam curling like a fragile hope, her eyes soft with concern. "You okay?" she asked, her voice a gentle anchor in the storm, steady and warm. I shook my head, unable to lie, my throat tight with unshed tears, my chest heavy. She pulled me into a hug, and I cried, the tears soaking her shirt, her warmth a lifeline in the chaos, a reminder of the love we'd built from that first night in my staged apartment. "We'll get through this," she whispered, her hand stroking my back, her words a promise I clung to like a drowning man to a raft. But the fear of Mom lurking, plotting her next move, was paralyzing, a shadow I couldn't escape, a specter as haunting as Donovan's decaying wife, her screams echoing in my nightmares. Later that day, my granddad called, his voice heavy with exhaustion, worn down by years of Mom's chaos, his sighs carrying the weight of regret. He'd moved my little brothers to their dads, far from her reach, their safety a small victory in a war we didn't choose. "I should have cut her off sooner," he said, his words laced with guilt, a mirror of my own, the what-ifs that haunted us both like ghosts. I didn't know how to respond. Mom's destruction wasn't his fault, but I understood the weight, the endless loop of wondering if we could have stopped her sooner. Emily suggested baking cookies to distract ourselves, and I agreed, hoping the simple act would ground me, tether me to the present, away from the shadows. The kitchen filled with the smell of vanilla and laughter as my daughter sneaked bits of dough, her giggles a fleeting balm for my wounded heart, a moment of joy in the storm. Emily shared stories from high school, her voice bright as she recalled our teenage antics, sneaking out to stargaze, failing algebra together, laughing until our sides ached, taking me back to simpler times when my biggest worry was a pop quiz or catching Elena's eye. For a few hours, I forgot the fear, the guilt, the nightmares that plagued me, the weight of Mom's shadow and the Reddit hate. But when I went to bed, they returned. Mom's face, twisted with rage, her hands reaching for my children, her shadow a specter in the dark, blending with the image of Donovan's ghostly wife, her wails a chorus of my own regrets. The police called with an update. Mom's car was found abandoned in a parking lot, its windows frosted over, the keys still in the ignition, but no sign of her or her siblings, no trace of where they'd gone. The investigation was ongoing, but leads were thin, like threads unraveling in my hands, slipping away no matter how tightly I grasped. They asked if I'd noticed anything unusual before the fire, any hint of Mom's presence, her watchful eyes like a predator's. I racked my brain, but Mom was always watching, always scheming, her presence a constant hum in the background of our lives, like static on an old radio, faint but ever present. She'd known our address, our routines, even details about my kids' school schedules, a violation that felt like a knife in the back, a betrayal from someone close. Someone was feeding her information, and the sting of that betrayal was sharp, like the Reddit DMs that turned my love story into a crime. "We've been feeding fake information, as you suggested on Warth stories, but haven't caught the traitor yet, the uncertainty a weight that presses on my chest, a shadow that follows me everywhere." I started therapy with Dr. Ellis, a kind woman with a warm voice who let me be human, not a hero or a villain, just a man trying to survive the chaos. She didn't judge or push me to be strong, her office a safe haven where I could unravel, my words spilling like water from a broken dam. I was diagnosed with depression and started medication, but the fog in my mind didn't lift overnight, a heavy mist that clung to my thoughts, slowing my steps, clouding my days. Elena attended sessions with me, learning how to support me without burning out, her presence a steady light in my darkness, just like her laughter was years ago in my apartment. She was patient, even when I snapped or retreated into silence, my mind tangled in fear and guilt, haunted by images of Mom, the Reddit hate, and Donovan's ghostly wife, their faces blending in my nightmares. Last night, Elena texted from the gala, her words bright with excitement about new contacts and art deals, each message a spark of her vibrant world, a world I admire but can't fully enter. But they weren't enough to ease my unease, the image of her on S's arm lingering like a stubborn stain, a jealous thought I couldn't scrub away, as persistent as the online hate that twisted my love story. I waited, a beer in hand, the TV muted, the house too quiet, until she came home just after midnight, her dress shimmering in the moonlight, her laughter a melody that filled the silence. We talked, and I admitted my jealousy, not accusing but honest, my voice low, my hands fidgeting like they did when I first asked her out. She listened, her hands squeezing mine, promising to bring me next time, her eyes full of love, a balm for my restless heart. It didn't erase the unease, but it helped, a small step toward understanding, a bridge we built together, just like we built our life from that first night. Christmas Eve hit like a tidal wave, Dad's absence a gaping wound that throbbed with every memory of his warmth. I sat by the tree, staring at the twinkling lights, wishing he were here to make a bad joke or sneak me his famous fudge, its sweetness a memory I clung to like a lifeline. My daughter crawled into my lap, holding a drawing she'd made of us watching Home Alone, her crayons capturing our smiles in a way reality couldn't, her innocence a light in my darkness. "Can we watch it for Grandpa?" she asked, her voice small, her eyes wide with hope, her love a mirror of the love I felt for Elena all those years ago. I nodded, tears streaming down my face as we cuddled on the couch, the familiar movie playing in the background, Kevin's antics a bittersweet comfort, a connection to Dad's memory. Elena joined us, her arm around me, her warmth a flicker of hope, like a candle burning in the wind, fragile but enduring, a reminder of why I fought for her. Claire called on Christmas Day, her voice stronger, a hint of the sister I'd lost to Mom's chaos, the sister who'd once giggled with Elena in our living room. She and her dad were working through their issues, and Noah was thriving, his giggles a bright spot in her updates, a reminder of innocence preserved in a world of pain. She thanked me again, promising to make things right, her words a tentative bridge between us, a fragile connection I wasn't sure I trusted yet. I told her to focus on herself and her son, that we'd figure out the rest together, my voice steady but my heart uncertain, a mix of hope and caution. It wasn't forgiveness, not yet, but it was a start, a crack in the wall we'd built over years of hurt, a step toward healing. The investigation into the fire continued, but answers were scarce, like puzzle pieces scattered in the wind, impossible to piece together without a guide. My in-laws were still divided, though Elena's mom's fierce defense of me had softened some of the tension, her voice firm as she stood up for me at a family dinner, her words a shield against their blame, a reminder of the family we'd built. My oldest brother-in-law and his wife were in counseling, trying to salvage their marriage, their arguments a mirror of my own family's strain, their voices raised in the same pain I knew too well. I apologized, my voice heavy with guilt, but they said their issues ran deeper than the fire, a claim I wasn't sure I believed but let go, too tired to push, too weary to fight another battle. As my birthday on January 2nd approached, I dreaded the milestone, a day once bright with Dad's presence, his lopsided cake wobbling on the plate, his off-key singing a melody that warmed the coldest nights. This year, Elena planned a quiet celebration with Emily's family, keeping it low-key to avoid overwhelming me, her thoughtfulness a gift in itself, a reflection of the love we'd nurtured since that first night. They gave me a journal, its leather cover smooth under my fingers, encouraging me to write my thoughts, maybe even turn them into more stories for Warth stories, a suggestion that felt both daunting and hopeful, like a seed planted in barren soil. I wasn't ready to create again, but the idea sparked a tiny flame in the darkness, a flicker of possibility, a chance to reclaim my voice. Tonight, as Elena shines at the gala, I'm choosing trust over jealousy, though it's a battle I fight with every breath, a struggle as real as the hate I faced online. I'll text her, maybe crack open another beer, and wait for her to come home, her laughter filling our house like music, a reminder of why I schemed to win her heart all those years ago. I'm still scared, still grieving, still fighting the darkness in my mind, haunted by Mom's shadow, the Reddit hate, and Donovan's ghostly wife, their faces blending in my nightmares. But I'm not alone anymore. Elena, my daughter, Emily, even Claire, they're my anchors, holding me steady in the storm, their love a lifeline I cling to, as strong as the love I felt when I staged that apartment. Mom may be out there, plotting her next move, but I'm learning to lean on others, to let myself heal, to face the guilt and fear like Donovan facing his ghostly wife. It's slow, painful, and messy, like stitching a wound that keeps tearing open, but it's progress, a step toward light, a journey I share with you on Warth Stories. As for I'm torn, my heart aching for the brother I lost, his laugh a memory that haunts me like Donovan's wife, a ghost of our childhood. I miss our late-night talks, our shared summers, the way we'd toss a baseball until the stars came out. M's influence and his choices have built a wall I can't climb, but I might write him, leaving the door open with words of love and hurt, a final attempt to reach him, to find the brother I knew. For now, I'm focusing on my peace, my family, my life with Elena and our daughter, choosing love over loss, trust over fear, just like I chose to fight for Elena with a t-shirt and a CD. Thank you for listening to my story on Warth Stories. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and comment for my support, and don't forget to press the bell icon for more updates. Thank you.